And welcome back, guys. I am here with Bryce, and we are joined by Crazy Family Adventure, Brianna and Craig. Welcome back, guys. And I'm excited to go through this unit. This one, you know, at first, when I first saw it, I'm like, oh, that's an interesting pick. But the more I went through it, I'm like, you know what? I can 100% see how this could definitely work for you. And I'm excited. Why don't you guys tell me a little bit about why you went with the Montana High Country 377 FL?
Yeah, we really like this front living area in here. We could just see how much fun that would be for our family to have our kids all in there together with their friends over, TV, fireplace, the whole deal. It's like really would feel like you're in like a house, not in an RV. So we really liked that setup a lot. I also like in the kitchen how you almost have two tables. So you have the one where you can kind of pull up to the little bar area and then the other side one with the booth. But again, with 6 of us, that means maybe everyone can sit down at the same time to eat. So that would be really nice. And then the back loft area was really interesting, how they gave you so much living space in the RV, which we love. And then the sleeping space that they kind of stack that in the back in one room. Like that's really smart and good way to not take too much space up for a sleeping area that you don't spend that much time in anyways, or you're just sleeping while you're there.
For sure, for sure. Now, with this front living area, I remember you guys were saying that, you know, that's one of your favorite parts, right? Is just sitting around like a family and being together. And that's one of the great parts about having that front living room feel, right? Is that you have that, and you still have a lot of sleeping capacity up there too with the tri-fold sofas.
Yeah, definitely. Perfect room for a sleepover. I know our kids would love that.
Yeah, it's so unique to fifth wheels too, like that big area and still have a bunk space in the back. I don't think I've really seen that in many other models.
Yeah, you got the fireplace there, beautiful entertainment center.
I love how that one, the TV goes down as well, right? To bring in that window. It really does have the living room feel.
Yes.
It's just, you forget you're in an RV when you live in this section right there.
Yeah, that's a great point.
And we have one of those windows in our rig right now, and we love that window. It's such a big open window, and you can have some amazing views outside of that. So we really like how this one, you have that, and then there you go. You have that, and then you also have the TV right there. So how they've used this space in like multiple ways is really cool about this rig.
And the fireplace, at first when we have one in our Montana, and at first we were kind of like, I don't know how much we're going to use it. But it is really, really nice. Like it blows off some really nice heat, and it gives a little nice ambiance too. So
totally,
we've fallen in love with that for sure.
Lots of coffees in the morning while we sit next to the fireplace and warm our feet up while we drink our coffee. So
on our fancy ottomans.
Yes, on the fancy ottoman. But yeah, no, we love this setup, and of course, from a renovation perspective, I love looking at it and going, "Oh, you could add some really fun, funky wallpaper in those little coves where the couches are." You could add some really cool colors to the wall to make it pop. And again, take that trim off and add some wood in there and those valances for some cool curtains. There's just lots of room to do some really cool and fun things in there.
Yeah, and I'm just seeing a lot of windows too, which is really, really cool.
Like, yeah, a lot of natural light there.
Yeah.
I've wondered
the natural light is great.
Go ahead, sorry.
No, I was just going to say the natural light is great. Just being able to see cool campsites you get to or some of the boondocking spots. Like we love having a lot of windows.
And then you can open them with a nice crosswind in there, so you get a nice breeze coming through on the days when it is hot, or a nice, you know, spring breeze coming through. That's great.
Yeah. We've Nellie, my wife and I have talked about if we had a space like this. We love how the couches face each other. You can house so many people there. We've wondered if we might even take out one of the couches to have a little like activity table learning center as well, or something, or a piano even.
That would be awesome.
That would be cool.
I think you could do a lot of stuff with that, because you have so much couches and seating area. It gives you the flexibility to actually, totally remove one and do a craft area too. I like the piano though. I like that.
Yeah.
A light one, of course, not one of those.
Not a grand piano.
Maybe a grand mini.
There you go.
One of the other things I really like about this too is actually up on the ceiling, kind of the unsung hero, and that's the AC system. This one actually has the whisper quiet AC up there, which a lot of people just don't realize. You know, if you haven't been RVing, especially with a front living room like this, where you're up higher and close to the ceiling, if you turn that AC on, it's pretty darn loud normally. So if you can do something to reduce that, so it just makes it easier to have that conversation, to be able to watch TV. It's a huge noise reduction, and being straight from the factory with it's a big one.
Yeah, we love that about the Keystone and the Montana High Countries, how we've noticed throughout our rig too, that there's just those little things like that they know and they get, and they make it work that way. Like, they don't ignore that stuff. People will be fine with the noise. Like, they're like, no, we need to make this better. And we love that they do that.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys do you have a ceiling fan in your rig, right? Do you use that a lot?
We do. Yes, we do actually. Like, it's a great way just to circulate air. We usually have windows open a lot, but yeah, we flip it on and just kind of leave it running. So
yeah, it's nice to have. It's another one thing that makes it more like a house than it does like an RV. Like, who has a ceiling fan in their RV? Like, it's great.
Yeah, I love that.
And you're talking about the kind of the second table here. Oh, go ahead, Craig.
Yeah, I love that. So when we were in our house, we had like a nice little space like this where the kids would pull up their bench or their little chairs and sit there while I was making breakfast or whatever. And I really miss that, like that we don't have that. So seeing that in this model, I'm like, oh, that's so cool. The kids just pull up right there, a little breakfast nook area like that, and sit there while I'm cooking or Craig's cooking, and just a cool hangout spot. So I really like that added area there, and then still having the booth where then you can have people sitting there too. So it just gives lots of spaces for lots of people, which when you have 4 kids is good.
Yeah, no, and I love that big counter space too, because that's the one thing. I do a lot of cooking, and like prep area for cooking and stuff like that is just so limited in RVs. But that big, huge peninsula over on the left there is amazing for that. Look at that. Yeah, that's awesome.
And those drawers are actually good size drawers too, not ones that are just there to have a drawer. Those are good width.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, we've been, again, very happy with our Keystone Montana High Country, too, that all the drawers are actual drawers. They're not just there for decoration, because we've seen those in some rigs.
Yes.
And that they are good, decent sizes. So we do really appreciate that.
Yeah, that's one of those things that's funny, as you go through RVs, you look at drawers that are actually functional. And with Montana, with the exception of that windshield, every window opens too, which, for you guys, when you talk about not running the AC and opening up windows, like that's going to be a pretty big factor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's huge. That's huge. Yeah, so look at that area too. There's so many things. We can just like put the kids' toys in there, put in there like our games and everything. Like, so many extra cabinet spaces. And we did like about this model as well is that the cargo capacity is over 3,000 pounds. And like we've talked about before, we've gone into rigs where like the cabinet space, we're like, look at all this cabinet space. And then the cargo capacity is like 1,500 pounds. We're like, well, you have all this cabinet space, we can't even use it. Where in this one, because you do have over 3,000 pounds, you can actually use all that cabinet space. Yeah. Oh, and of course the fridge.
Yeah, residential fridge there.
Yeah, I'm actually glad that you brought up the cargo carrying capacity, because that's one of those things a lot of people just, they don't consider, right? Especially first-time buyers. They look at, okay, can I tow this? And then, they're looking at all the, the stats on the truck and the stats on the camper, making sure that they are able to tow it down the road. But they don't necessarily consider, hey, is this going to have enough carrying capacity for everything that I need to put in it?
Yes, and we have been in situations where we have bought rigs without really thinking about that, and it does not go well. It's not a good thing, especially if you're full-time traveling. If you are looking to just take it out on the weekends, you'll probably be okay. But if you're looking to take it in any extended trip and to really pack it full, like, you want to really pay attention to that.
Yeah, and that's just something that comes with experience, because you don't really know how much your stuff weighs until you have everything in it, and then you weigh the whole rig itself. So we know over the years, like, whatever we think we need in cargo capacity,
we need more.
Maybe double it.
So we always recommend for full-time families going on the road that it be at least over 3,000 pounds. If you can get over 4,000, that's even better. And you may think, there's no way that we have that much stuff. You do.
And then you forget how much you have too. Like, when you guys recently moved into this new unit, was it a surprise how much stuff you had, or because over time you kind of
every
forget?
time?
Yeah, it took us all day to move an RV. I'm like, how much stuff do we have?
And we're also like, how did we fit all this in this 30-foot trailer? Like, where did this even go? So yes, absolutely. There's always more than you think.
I felt bad for the trailer when we left it. I was like, oh man, sorry, I didn't realize we put that much in there.
That's awesome.
I love the
Yeah,
sink in the Montana too. That's one of the things that have always stood out to me. They actually, a few years back, went away from it for a little bit and brought it back because so many people love the design. I mean, that the bowl on the left itself is bigger than, you know, some of the sinks you get in other RVs, but it still gives you the split bowl, so you can fit some of your bigger pots and pans down in there and still be able to easily wash and rinse dishes, and I love that.
Yeah, totally. And we found a perfect little drawing rack at Camping World that fits right in the right side of the sink.
Nice.
So it worked out really good. Yeah.
I know which one you're talking about,
Yeah, and the
actually. We
faucet.
recently picked up one of those. Yeah, makes a difference. Saves up the counter space.
It does. It does, and it's not easy to find those ones that are that smaller size. So we were so excited when we found the one that worked. We're like, yes, Camping World, you got it.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah, and you can see that you talked about that beautiful, you know, lighter cabinetry they have in here. I mean, I agree with you. You can just keep it as it is. It's absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really is, and it really lightens everything up and just gives it a much more like a homey feel just as is. But what it also means is that you can have a lot of fun with the wallpaper or painting the walls because the color goes with so many things.
Yeah.
So it's not like you're trying to match a dark wood to something specific. So in this case, you can really have at it. You can put cheetah print all over the place in there with that. So
And you should. And you should.
You should, yes.
Yeah, I love this loft area, especially like if you have littles or how old your kids are. That's easy stairs to go up.
Yes.
And surprisingly more roomy
Yep.
than you think up top here.
yeah, it looks like in that area you could the kids could probably sit up there, right? It looks like it's pretty high.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you could probably
Yeah.
sit up for sure. And to Bryce's point, you know, I love that you brought up the steps because that's a big one for two reasons, right? A lot of times when you have loft, it's, you know, the steps are like straight up and down. And, you know, it doesn't feel very safe to have the
Yeah.
kiddos climb up and down there. And here, you know, if you have dogs, the dogs can get up into that loft. It's a nice, easy area for them to get up. You know, it's just one of those things you
Totally.
don't normally think about, but I do love the steps.
Yeah, it's funny that you say that. Just this morning, my daughter slipped down her ladder from her loft
Oh,
and hurt
no.
herself. So, yeah, it's funny that you brought, and she's 11, so it's not even like, you know, it's just one of those things. And every time I go up there, I'm kind of like, oh, geez, if I fall off of this thing, that's not going to be pretty. So, so having the stairs there, that is huge. That's really nice that they have that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big bathroom too, and I love the, you know, a couple things I really like about Montana when they do in the bathroom. You know, you're looking at a porcelain bowl, of course, so that way,
Yep.
you know, and I always tell people, and I'm sure you guys, you know, you guys living in it can probably attest. There's a big difference in the longevity between a plastic and a porcelain bowl.
Yeah. So much easier to clean too. It's just,
Yes.
yeah. So good.
Yep. And the one-piece shower, you know, it's home, you know,
Yep.
it's like home, you know, residential construction.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah, no, they do a good job with this setup. And you even saw like behind the toilet how they have the little hooks where you can hang stuff, like all those extra little things that Keystone will add in there. I think it just makes it's those extra touches that make a big difference.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and on our unit, we have a 10-gallon water heater, so we can take a really decent, long, hot shower, which is cool.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really nice, especially with the kiddos.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. And especially
when they
this time
shower.
of year.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, this time of year for sure. It's like I missed my bathtub back home, but I'll take a nice hot shower.
Yeah. Now this room, it steps down, right? When he walked in? Just
Yeah,
a little
yep,
bit?
yeah.
Because
it's
of
a
that
sunken
loft above?
bedroom.
Yeah.
Yep.
That seems like so little, but that makes a huge difference. I'm very aware of
Oh,
stuff
yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
that really does.
then right there where you can see that cabinet that's open, it's something else I like about it is that this unit does have washer dryer prep in there as well.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah. And that's one of those things, right? It's always hit or miss. How about, I mean, what have your guys' experience been with that? Do you usually go to a laundromat? Have you gotten units that have always had washer dryer? What have you done on the road?
Yeah, no, for us, our first one did, and then we have not had a washer dryer until this one. And I feel like it's one of those things. If you don't have it, you don't know what you're missing. And then once you get it, you're like, oh, okay, I don't ever want to be with one without it. So I think that it is a really nice thing to have, and we can just run laundry every day and keep up with it. They're smaller, but even with like the 6 people, like if I just run a load once a day, maybe even every 2 days, like we're totally fine and can keep up with everything. So
Yeah.
I think they're definitely worth it to have it, especially if you're going to be places with full hookups. If you're planning a boondock a lot, that gets a little bit more tricky.
Sure.
But if you plan on definitely being at a place, or like we'll even like go boondock somewhere and then specifically stay at an RV park for one night just to do laundry and to get everything done before we head out to the next boondocking spot. So it is nice. And especially now with everything going on that we don't have to go to a laundromat.
Yes.
Is really like, we do really like that.
That is a really good point, because in our first unit, we didn't have a washer and dryer. We have hookups now, but we've been just on the go with this tour, and so we haven't got units yet, and we've wondered about that. We're just like, well, we'll be at an RV park anyway, we could use this, but that feature of not having to go in and just do it all within your unit, that's nice.
Yeah.
Yep, totally. It is. And just having the dryer is nice too. Like if the kids, their clothes get wet outside playing in the rain and you just want to dry everything really quick, or the towels from the beach, like it's nice just to have that too.
Oh, yeah.
And one of the things I like about this setup too is it's pretty uncommon for fifth wheels is that the washer dryer hookup isn't in the wardrobe. So you still get that full wardrobe space. So, especially if you're full-time living, I mean, you're going to have a lot of clothes in there, and if your washer dryer's in there, it's taken out quite a bit, but here it's not an issue.
That is huge. That is a huge closet. That is really nice to have something that size back there. And the nice doors that close with the mirrors on it, right? So you get, because sometimes it's hard to find a full-length mirror in an RV. So that's awesome that you have that right there.
It's funny how many times I have heard that, especially people that have been, living in an RV, they're like, that you can't get a full-length mirror, like you get torso up, but it's hard to make sure, everything's matching and looking good. And it's funny you bring that up.
Yeah. Yep. See those little things you catch after you've been in a lot of RVs.
I don't know if it's the angle of the camera, but this bed seems like it raises higher than, well, at least our first rig. That's good storage underneath.
Yeah. Yeah, big storage for some bigger items.
Yep.
That's nice.
That is really nice to have. We have ours under our bed is filled with like winter clothes and suitcase things and stuff like that. That's a great extra storage. And if they don't have a lot of other stuff underneath there, so you do have a big storage area.
You can actually use it.
Yeah.
Yep. Exactly. Yeah, this is similar to like the what we had for the dresser in our rig, and what we actually ended up doing here for those that are planning on working in it is we actually took this dresser out and replaced it with two from Amazon that are smaller, and then just put like a wood slab across the top. So then I can sit in the middle of it, like my legs can fit in the middle of it to turn it into a desk, but still have the dresser space.
I like that.
So
yeah,
it's
that's
nice.
Cool.
Yeah, and it has the same setup here, so you have the window there, so I get nice like light, and I can open the window and everything, and it works out really well there to kind of turn that into a little office area, desk area.
That's really smart. They should take note of that.
Yeah. Put a desk in the master bedrooms. We always tell people that. Put a desk back there in those rooms.
Yep.
Now, what do you guys think of the door on the off door side there, having that second entrance? Sorry, Kevin, not to make you flip around here, but what do you guys think of having a door over here? Right, it's not something that we commonly see in an RV. Do you feel that you would use it? Do you feel that it's kind of a waste? What are your feelings on it?
We actually have two doors in the rig we're in right now too, and we would prefer not to have two doors.
Okay.
So I don't know about this. I mean, having one go out one side and one go out the other side, like that's interesting. But usually if it goes out one way, you're going into your neighbor's yard. So I don't know if two doors are needed.
Maybe for safety reasons, like fire escape reasons or something like that, since all the sleeping area is in the back there. The other thing that I know for ours, one of the reasons they have the two doors is if slide outs are closed, you can't access certain areas. So they have another entrance so you can.
Yep.
So that's, I don't know if we'd use it, but.
Yeah, for those reasons, though, like if you are parked at a Walmart for the night and you don't want to put your slide outs out, you can at least get back to the rooms then, which is probably why they put that second door and the fire safety stuff. So
one of those features you don't know.
For that.
Yeah, you don't know you need until you're doing that. And you're like, oh, this is
that.
Nice.
That makes sense. Yeah. Yep.
Yes. Exactly. When you're parked somewhere, you forget why you need it. But in those times you do, it's nice to have.
Now, I just saw that Kevin was looking at the central vac there. Do you guys find that you use your central vac quite a bit?
No, we actually took it out, and the reason we did is we use all of the under our stairs as shoe storage. So we took out those little grates next to it. It's like a little wood kind of decorative thing there. Yeah, we took the screws out on that, and back there is just open. So we use shoes to, we put our shoes in there, and then I slapped like a little thing of Velcro on the back so it still sticks in place. So you can kind of close it all in.
I like
we
that.
did take out the vacuum system, and we just kind of used like a little stick vacuum that we got at Costco.
Yeah, the hose was really big, and it kind of seemed kind of cumbersome to get it out and to use it. So we were just like, nope, we need more space for the shoes. We got a lot of shoes.
Well, and it's important, right? I talk about it quite a bit too, that, you come in, you just don't have a spot to put shoes, and you don't want to just, kind of have them all over the door area. I mean, then it's in the way and cumbersome. So I completely understand.
Yeah, which if you're just doing like
Exactly.
week trips or whatever, it's not as big a deal. But living in it full time, that definitely adds up.
Now
Yeah,
coming. Oh, go
totally.
ahead. Sorry.
No, but good.
Coming from like a travel trailer, going back into a fifth wheel, especially high country, you start to move into auto level. Now, have you found that you really enjoy that? Has it saved a lot of time for you?
So there's a learning curve to it for sure. Like at first we had problems with it, and I think it was just user error. We were just idiots. We didn't read the manual or anything.
Well, no, we called it the leveling lotto. We were like, is it going to level? You push the button and you watch. You're like, come on, make the ding, make
Go,
the ding.
baby. But we figured out that even though it's an auto leveling system, you still have to be semi-level when you start it. So that was kind of a learning curve. And then also just the amount that you manually adjust the landing gear and stuff like that, kind of all factors into your auto level success. So
Yes.
I think we figured it out now, but and so now it's great. But
Yeah,
at first it was a learning curve.
there's definitely a learning curve. So it is something that you are going to want to mess around with and play around with and figure out. We looked like newbies like the first time we did it. We're like, no, we've been doing this for 6 years. Like, where? Like,
Yeah, I remember
had to,
the first
hook
time.
The truck up.
Sorry, go ahead.
I had to hook the truck up a couple times just to like get it back up so we can adjust the legs. I'm like, okay, maybe we should just quit now.
The first time I pushed auto level on ours, it just started going down. I was like, no, what's going on?
Yeah.
It's a freaked out moment. Yeah.
Well,
it is a little scary.
well, people don't think about it. If you're on uneven ground, I mean, it's going to level it out no matter what. So it's going to, I mean, it'll raise tires right up off the ground if you're on unlevel ground. It's,
That has happened.
yeah.
Yes. Or it just stops working and it tells you error, and then you're
Yes.
not level, and then you have to hook the truck back up and reposition it and change everything. And like, yeah, now we've got it figured out and it's all good. But it did take some time.
Very
That's
nice
funny.
once you have it figured out.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, one of the other things I really enjoy about Montana too, we talk about, you guys having all the toys and kind of being, the center at the park. But with Montana, they use that drop frame construction, and so it just gives you a much larger outside garage area than a lot of the other manufacturers.
Yes. Yeah, we've really appreciated having that. We actually have a MoreRide cargo tray that we added into ours too.
Very nice.
So one half of ours, it'll pull out with the tray, which is really nice. And yeah, we definitely use all that space and have plenty of room to put multiple bins in there and really get a lot of stuff in there. So we're really, and in the front, we have our solar that we got from Future Solutions, and that takes up part of that area in the front there, but we still have the whole other area to use for Craig to put his tools and different supplies and things like that. They did a really good job with the outside storage for a fifth wheel that sometimes it's not that much room.
That's a good point.
Now, when you talk about,
this one has that extra one. Love that. Ours does not have that, and we wish it did. So that's nice that it has an extra area like that. That's great.
yeah, a little bit in the back here too. So some just storage
Oh,
all
yeah.
over
nice.
this
There's a
thing.
lot of storage.
Yes,
Great.
that is great. That is really nice that they
Yeah,
added that extra in.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Now, when you guys talk about solar, how much solar did you guys end up going with?
So we have 1,200 watts on the roof. So we
Okay.
have 4 300-watt panels. We have 2 Battleborn GC3 batteries, which are 255 amp hours each, so a total of 510 amp hours of lithium. So
Yep.
that's been amazing.
Yeah. And these ones come prepped for the solar, and there's like a legit prep. Like they have wires
Yes.
run to the roof for the solar panels, and like we've had other ones that said it was solar prepped and they really weren't.
Yeah.
This one really is. So that is definitely a highlight of these high countries. If you're looking to go solar, they've done a good amount of work for you to start with.
Yeah, it's like it's a DIY project for sure with what they've done to it. So I love that.
Love it. Well, Brianna, Craig, thank you so much for joining us, guys. It's been an absolute blast. This is a beautiful unit. Again, the Keystone Montana High Country 377 FL. Thank you again for all of your stories. For everyone watching, stay tuned. We have more coming for week 8 of the Ultimate RV Show National Tour.